Have you been thinking about dreamy, succulent, juicy fall-off-the-bone barbecue ribs, but it's colder than Goku's parenting style out there? And not that I'm particularly adverse to a little cold, but you wonder, is it even possible to cook some intercostal picky protein inside? Can I have my hot meat and eat it too? Well then, look no further, friends, because I'm going to show you how to make some oven-cooked ribs that would melt the icicles off the taint of the Grinch himself. So without further ado, let's get to it. Now while the oven is preheating to 275 Fahrenheit, we're going to make our spice rub. While that's going on, I just want to quickly talk about what we're actually doing in this process of cooking it at that kind of lower temperature of 275. What a lot of people don't understand is there's a difference between cooking something to a safe internal temperature and cooking something to the point where the collagen breaks down into gelatin, essentially. So in layman's terms, less fancy speak, that would just mean that all the tough connective tissue turns into something soft, chewy, and tenderizing. Now you'll notice that I actually put the liquid smoke directly into the sugar. Just my thought pattern on that was that the sugar itself will melt as it's cooking, and that should sort of distribute it across the entire thing, whereas if you put it directly into one of the other spices, maybe it'll just kind of hang out with that spice. I don't know if that's true or not, but we're going to go with it. You can see here I'm just pulling off that membrane, which some people will tell you is optional, but I really prefer to do it. You do you, but I'm going to rip that thing off. You really want to try and get as much of the spice rub into as much of the meat as possible, really give it a good coating. You can leave this overnight and that's even better, but you can also just cook it right away. You'll notice I'm using a little bit of apple cider vinegar here. That little bit of liquid, and especially the acid, will help to start the breakdown and to tenderize the ribs. You can use any vinegar really. I just chose apple cider vinegar because I thought it would go best with the other flavors I was working with. Now this is advice I usually give younger guys, but make sure you wrap that thing up super tight, no leaks, you got me? You really want to make sure that there's nowhere that any of those juices are just going to leak out and go all over the bottom of your oven and make a big mess. Not only that, but that liquid is going to help tenderize this product, so keep it in there. After 2.5 hours, we'll be ready to glaze our ribs in our barbecue sauce. Now we already made a video on the homemade barbecue sauce, so you can either slow this down or go to our glizzy episode, I'll put a link here, and then you can figure out exactly how to make that. And any barbecue sauce will also work, just this particular one has a lot of the same flavor notes and works really well with these ribs. So just take that sauce, slather it all over. You can add as much as you want really. At a certain point it'll just be dripping off and not very effective. But if you don't add enough, it can also not really glaze the way you want it to. You could also do multiple glazes. We're not going to bother doing that. We're just going to do it once. You can see here the meat is already tender. That bone literally just fell out. The point of putting it back in the oven with the barbecue sauce in it is actually to create a bit of a glaze on the outside. And the longer that you cook it, you'll create a bit of a bark on the outside as well, something that's a little tougher and chewier than what the meat on the inside is, because you spent all that time breaking everything down and making it really soft on the inside. Try and make sure you cover every last possible inch of these before you throw them back into the oven. And this will take between 7 and 12 minutes, or up to 15, whatever, you do you. Like I said, the longer you leave it, the more of a tougher and chewier exterior you're going to get on it. And ignore that, I was just impatient and didn't let it preheat all the way. And with that, you can see the glaze is complete. We have taken them out of the oven and we're going to let them rest while we move on to some other things for just a little bit. Now I'm just making a little quick side dish with some potatoes right now. You can see here, this is not a hex-clad pan. It's actually a ripoff, but yeah, I'm not rich and bougie all of a sudden just from doing a couple of YouTube videos, so there. Anyway, fried potatoes, put some chicken stock, butter, garlic in there, let it simmer down, throw some Thai basil on it, and that was it. And here we have the final cut. So we're going to look at the cross section here, and you can see there is a ton of juices left on the inside, as well as, look at how tender. It's just practically falling off the bone, but not just disintegrating. There's still a little bit of chew to it. And some people will say let it go all the way till it's literally falling apart. Other people want that little bit of chew, but again, you do you. Cooking is basically choose your own adventure anyway. And with that, we are done. Now, guys, you will not believe how tender and flavorful these were. Of course, you don't have to believe me. You can make them yourself and let me know how it goes. Comment down below if you did. Anyway, with that, hit a like button, comment, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss an episode, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye!